Hi everyone, today we're going to be doing a part of this picture which is actually from World of Flowers. I'll just bring it down to show you, and it's from the calendar, the weekly calendar, the 22nd of March page. I thought we'd have a go at some of these flowers. They're really pretty. Now I'm going to be using my Staedtler Ergosoft pencils on this one. I just felt that they had nice pretty colours that we could use on these flowers. Now I'm going to start with this one. Now in my head this is a foxglove. I'm not sure whether it really is or whether it's just something Johanna has made up, but it's really pretty. We're going to start with number 6, and this is the purple. It always looks blue in my camera, and I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down, and I'm going to go for a more intense colour at the top and then just gently fade that down towards the bottom. Now we have these overturned bits. I'm going to leave those for a minute and think about what to do with them as we work our way through. So as you can see, I'm layering more colour near the top of the plant. Now normally I might do the top paler because that's where the light hits it, but once we get onto this petal it's going to be darker under here because of the fact that it's sort of tucked under the top bloom there. And so to keep it sort of consistent, I just thought I would do them all in a similar fashion. So do it darker under here and then lighter down here. Now you could blend in a lighter purple if you wanted to. The 36 set of Ergosofts has a light lilac-y type purple, but I just quite like sticking with the one shade. And we'll use the lighter one probably for these bits a bit later on. So I'm using the same technique for each little petal. Now you could, if you want this really intensely dark, you could go over with even more layers. You could darken up with other colours as well, such as grey or black. We might go in with some darker colour in a bit. But I just like to work the one colour through first, and then I can sort of step back, not literally, but sort of put my head back, have a look at it and see how it looks really, and whether I'm excuse me, whether I'm happy with how it looks or whether I feel that it needs a little bit more. So I'm just working through each one by one. I hope you can see okay. I'm just looking in the camera. When I first started setting up the camera here, the sun was shining through the window. It's nice and bright. It's now decided to disappear. So I hope you can see. I haven't put my lamp on. So I hope it's okay. I'm never quite sure whether it's better with or without the lamp, because the lamp creates shadows both from my hand and the pencil and my tripod, so it's a bit tricky. I am trying to think about ways to set up filming to make it a little bit better, because I use a video camera rather than a phone or a tablet. That has different implications with regards to how I film, and it makes it quite difficult for me to film directly from above. What I really need, I know, is a large tripod to stand on the floor next to me with an arm and hang my camera down directly above from an arm. I think that's what a lot of people do. I don't have a lot of room here where I film to put a tripod sort of beside me. I'd have to have a big reorganise, and I don't have an arm either, so I'd have to either try and make something, which is not my thing, or buy one, which I can. So I'm just, at the moment I am thinking about it. I realise there's lots of improvements that I could make, but it's just a matter of thinking about whether it's worth it and what might be the best approach. Alternatively, I could just buy a phone. I don't have a smartphone at the moment. I know, shock horror, who doesn't have a smartphone? but I have a tablet, but it's rubbish. I've tried filming with that. In fact, my first few videos I made, which were flip throughs, I filmed with that and the focus kept going in and out, and although this one isn't perfect for focus, it's very much better. And also my tablet doesn't take good photographs. This takes some much better stills, which I need to take too. So that's the sort of basic start, and now I'm going to do use my lighter purple, which is the number 62 here, to do all these little bits, because I think they're turned up from the bottom of the leaf, which petal, sorry, so I think it would be a different colour. So that's what I am doing. I can hear, oh. Yes, as I was saying, I could hear a delivery van outside, and I thought it might be a parcel, as I'm expecting 2 today, and it was a delivery, but it was a parcel for my husband. So he received one yesterday and said it wasn't what he was expecting, so perhaps this one is what he was expecting. He hasn't told me. He doesn't tell me until things arrive what he was expecting, which I always find rather good, because it means I can order things as well and never feel guilty about it. So when I order my 150 set of Holbeins, he won't mind. No, that isn't in the plan at the minute. Okay, I do feel that I want a little bit to darken up a little bit. Now, rather using black, I'm going to use the dark grey. If you don't have a dark grey, you can use a black. And what I'm going to do is go in under here and just add a little grey. Now I'm struggling to see. I'm going to have to put my lamp on. Whoa. And I hope that that doesn't ruin what you can see. Now I'm going in under here where there will be shadow, just with this grey, but I'm also going to go in between where the petals overlap slightly here, and hopefully it will start to give us a bit more of a three-dimensional feel to the plant. Gosh, now my lamp's on, I can see that I really need to add some more purple as well, but that's okay. What we can do is we can add it on top of this, and then it'll hide the fact that we've got this dark colour, this dark grey, and it will just look like we've built up some more layers of purple. And because this purple isn't really dark, this will just help to darken it up a little bit. And it's a good tip, because if you've only got a small set of pencils with limited colours, then you can mix them together to get the colours that you need. I used to do that when I first started a lot, because I just had 24 Ergosoft and that was all I had. I'm going to head back to this dark number 6 and go back over and probably bring the colour down a little bit more as well, because now I can see better that it needs a little more attention, I suppose. And these ones, this one's further back, so I'm going to only take it light on that edge, and hopefully that will help the effect. So yes, I used to have to improvise a lot with colour, because I started off, as I say, with just 24 Ergosofts. I didn't do the 36 set then, and then I got a tin of 36 polychromos, which were lovely, and I still had to improvise a bit, don't get masses of colour, but eventually I got the 120 polychromos, so that was lovely. And now I've got all sorts of other little bits and pieces as well to play with, and I tend to mix my brands together. So although when I'm demonstrating to you, I tend to just stick with the one brand, I think that's easier for searching on YouTube if you've only got a particular brand of pencil and you only want to see videos on that brand. Then it makes it a little easier. I'm darkening around here a little bit because I think this petal would would stick up a little in the middle, and that might give that illusion. Yes, so I tend to mix, but I don't in videos because I think it's easier for you, as I say, if someone's searching and they just want polychromos, or they just want, I don't know, Arteza or whatever, then they can find it. So that's that. I'm going to smooth all of these out a little with this lighter purple, the number 62. I can't read today. And just go over where the white paper shows with this, and we still get the contrasting colour with the darker and lighter, but it just gives a little smoothness to it all. You know, I started off when I first picked up this page thinking I was going to do really soft and delicate colours. I totally failed at the first hurdle, so never mind. Another day maybe. Maybe I should grab my Holbein pastel pencils and do something with those. That forces me to be delicate. Now with these turned over bits, they're quite plain, they're all just that light colour, so I'm going to grab the darker one, again the number 6, just add a little bit of tone to it where I think it might be darker, where there might be shadow sort of underneath, sort of coming up. I hope that sort of makes sense. Sorry, not much talking, concentrating. Apparently I often colour with my mouth open where I'm concentrating. It's lucky you can't see me. I think we'll move on to this one now. I'm going to grab a different colour set. Now, a pair of colours that I really like together from this 36 set, now you won't get this if you've got the 24, is the red and this this pink 25. So the 29 is the red and the 25 is the new pink. It's a sort of salmony pink, and I think together they work well. So we're going to grab the red first. We're going to work on both of these two at the same time. So I'm going to look at this and think, where am I going to put my darker parts? And I'm going to have a darker bit here, and then you see I'm gently fading the colour out, and I'm going to do the same from the edge as well. So we're going to have it darker top and bottom, and that's the sort of stalky bit. I'm not going to touch that with the red. I think I will leave that green, and when I do the stem there, and then the same here. We'll probably come in and do some more layers later, but and at the top, I'm just looking at the time, I haven't been that long. Oh, but I paused it, didn't I? I've got no idea how long I've been. Oh well. Okay, and now this one. Now we've got these sort of outside pieces. Now they could be the outside of the sort of bud part, like the sort of leafy bit, but I think I'm going to do them in red because I think it'll look prettier, even if it isn't quite what the intention was. And again, I'm going to, you see I'm doing dark at the tip and then just bringing the colour down a little, and then again at the base. And we'll add in the pink, and you'll see, hopefully, what my plan is. I really enjoyed doing this page this is from How to Draw Inky Wonderlands. We're now going for the 25, which is the pinky colour. and it's nice to have a chance to have another go at it. So I'm going to go all over the red and then bring it down towards the centre, and the same here. Now I don't want to totally get rid of all that white, but I just want to leave a little bit. I hope you can see that there's that sort of pale area in the centre there, and we're going to do the same with each of these. Now I find it's easier to do a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other, and back and forth, and it means you get that white line part sort of equally between the two sections. There's probably a little bit too much white on there. And then this one. So just going to move slowly around the flower head. You see, taking it down and up to meet it in the middle. I find if you just leave a line like I have there, it looks a little odd. I try and cover it up just a little bit. That's it. Okay, now this one. Can you see? You can see. I'm wondering if I can zoom in a little more for you. Oh, look at that. Oops, not too far. There. Yeah, you might be able to see better. Sorry. See, I'm still learning with this technology. When I first met my husband, he was really into videoing. He had 2 video cameras. He just bought one, just as I met him actually. I think he used to spend every Saturday in Jessop's looking at all the video cameras. Where he lived, there it was the only sort of shop that sold them, and he used to always be taking stills and videoing. I always much preferred taking stills than taking video film. I'm going to go back to the red, number 29, and just emphasize these areas. And he had, this camera isn't one of those. I mean, we have been married for 20 years. He bought a new one since. But in fact, probably this might have been his 4th. Wow. Sorry, I skipped to that one. I should just be doing a little bit of work here. So you see, I'm just trying to emphasize the deep colour on the tips and the centre, because when we blend in the other colour it tends to go over the top and fade it a little bit. And the same here. So anyway, I did start using the camera and taking some stills and things like that. I remember we went on holiday and we took the cameras, 2 cameras, and had one each. And I used to end up carrying the tripod, which he's still very grateful for and can't quite understand why I did it. I think I just happened to be stronger and I didn't have a bad back, which was probably why I did it. Now, with this one here, I want a little more definition between the different petals. So I'm going to grab this grey again, the number 8, like we did for this one, and just do a little shading work. I'm just going to go in there and along the edge of here, and then maybe just emphasising, because we colour over the top of the black lines a lot by mistake, sometimes just going back over them can just help to give it a more 3D look. There we go. So I've done that one. Now we've got these 2 and these 2, and they look to me the same. I'm just going to, so I will colour them in the same colour. Now, hanging down flowers like this, I'm always a little stuck on what to do, to be honest, but I'm going to grab, because we've used a reddy pink and we've used a purple, we really need either a blue or an orange to balance it out, I think, unless we just do all purple and pink, because I'm limited in my purples, I only have the 2. I'm going to do more of a mixture of colours, so I'm going to do these 2 in blue, because they probably look a little bit like bluebells, but we'll do them in a different shade of blue to a bluebell. Now I'm going to grab this blue. This is the number 63. This is what I feel is rather a denim blue. Gosh, look at the point on that. Wow. I certainly haven't used that since I sharpened it. And my plan is for this one to be a little bit more delicate towards the bottom. So start off quite heavy. As you can see, I've layered that up and then gently reduce the pressure and the amount of layers so that we can get a fade towards the bottom. Now for me that looks dark to there, and then the rest of that looks the same tone, so I'm going to continue adding gentle layers until I feel that it looks like it's fading down. Now you notice I'm scraping the pencil downwards. That's in the direction of the lines on the flower, so then if it goes liney it doesn't matter because it will look natural to what you would expect the flower to do. We're going to do exactly the same on this one. And I actually found up there that dealing with one little bit at a time, I want to say quadrant, but that's 4 and there's 3, so I shall say section. Dealing with each section at a time allowed me to get a more even finish. I'm aware, I've just remembered that I haven't done the centre of the red flower, that one, but we'll have a think about that in a minute. Okay, and now this one, let's just move over slightly. See, this looks quite blue, but once we get some more colour down here, it will look different. So I need to get a harder layers at the top and fade it down. Okay, and this is just a matter of practice, and you can use a different technique. I know some people would like to do a light layer all over and then just do another layer over the bit that they want to darken, and then do more and more layers. So I'll show you. Just do a light layer like this, and then do another layer up until you sort of feel you need to stop, and then another one, and another one, and just keep layering up until you get the desired effect. So that's another way of doing it. And gently layering up when you want this effect is the best way. If you go in too hard, it's quite tricky to get it looking just right. I'm listening out still in case another parcel lorry comes. I think I'm just checking the time. Yeah, it's probably sometime within the next hour. So we'll see. Now with the little bit on the top, sometimes I do it the colour of the flower, sometimes I do it the stem colour, and I'm going to leave it and do it the stem colour. I'm looking at this centre here. Now I could do it the colour of the flower, or I could do it a different colour, and I'm thinking I'd quite like a black or grey, so I'm going to use this grey. I happen to have it right next to me, and pop that in the middle and see whether I think that works. Not sure. I'm going to grab my black, I think it's number 9, and darken that at the bottom to try and make it look slightly more three-dimensional, but it's very difficult to see any difference in that, but there we go. I'm going to leave that like that. Okay, Now we have these two flowers here. Oh, now we have to have a look carefully. These two, I think, are definitely together, and I think these two, and that we've got this bud which is joined to this one. So these three here are all the same type of flower. Now I'm looking at them thinking buttercups. So I'm going to do them in yellows. Now I find yellows can be quite tricky to work with, to blend together, because they're quite pale. It's always quite hard to see quite what you're doing. So I tend to opt to start with a darker yellow. So this is number 11. You see it's quite orangey, and then it can help to guide me in what I want to do. So I'm not going to do these little bits or the centre yet. I'm going to just concentrate on doing the petally bits, and I'm going to fade that out towards the edge of the petal, and I'm going to do it in the same way all the way around, and then I'm going to add a different shade of yellow for the rest. And the same with this one. So I'm putting more layers in here and pushing a bit harder down onto the paper. Now do be careful when you're pushing down. You need to be careful of your paper and also anything that's behind. I always pop a sheet of paper in between the pages, so then if I've coloured on the back or written on the back, because this is a planner, might be writing on the back, it won't transfer across to the picture. Now, I would advise you, if you're writing in your planner, not to use graphite pencil. It's always tempting to use a pencil because you can rub it out, but it's so smudgy and can look quite dirty. So if you transfer that across to the next page, it will spoil your picture and your colouring. This one. Now, this is obviously completely different because it's a closed bud. So what I think I'm going to do is go dark at the bottom, where it's likely to be a bit more shaded and darker, and here darker here where it sort of meets the main part of the plant. And then I'm going to grab my other yellow, which is number 1, and we will start here and just pull that colour out to the edge. And I'm hoping I've got full coverage of the page. I find it very difficult to see. I don't know if it's just my eyesight or if everybody's the same, but I find when I've got yellow on a page, I can't differentiate at all easily between the white and the yellow, so I can't tell whether I've covered all of it or not. So it can often look really smooth, and then when I zoom in with my tablet or camera, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've missed all that area because I couldn't see it. So I'm not sure if other people have that trouble, and it tends to put me off using yellow a little bit in certain circumstances because I worry that I might miss bits. But of course I could probably do with a magnifying glass and a very bright light, and I would be able to see. But hopefully this is working. Hopefully. And I'm not zoomed in too closely, so you might not notice if it isn't. Now I think this flower will be our last, and I will continue with some more in another video because there's a lot of flowers on this page. It's very pretty, and I will show you the next bit after, and that will save this video going on for 10 million years. I'm sure you haven't quite got that amount of time. Now the centre, I'm thinking buttercups, I'm not really sure, so I'm just going to go for a green colour. Now I really like this green, as you can tell by the size of it. This is the number 56, and I'm going to pop a bit of this in the middle on all of this. I think buttercups are just yellow inside, so as I'm trying to remember. But this, obviously, the shape and how Johanna's drawn this. calls for something different. Now what I want to do is darken up the bottom of there, but I think I need to use a darker pencil. I can hear a van outside again. I bet it's another delivery. It's going to make editing this video fun. I tend not to edit out very much because I'm not the most brilliant at editing. But so I'm going to grab the slightly darker green, which is 57, and I'm just going to try and darken up just the bottom of here. Oh, I managed to darken all of it. Wasn't quite my intention. Oh, something's come through the letterbox. Maybe it fitted through. And something else has come through the letterbox. How very exciting. So I'm going to finish off these two with these little turned over bits, and I'm going to use this really pale yellow number 10. I always think it's a bit lemony. Gosh, and something else through the letterbox. Wow. I feel like doing a video unboxing event with so much post. And something else through the letterbox. Flipping. Have I got the whole street's post, I think? I don't think I will do a video unboxing now. I think it's not very exciting. So that's that. So I'm going to pull it all into shots so you can see what we've done. Hang on, let's just zoom out just a tad. There we go. So that's those done for today, and we shall do the rest of the flowers in another video. I've got a few ideas for other bits of it as well, so we'll play around and make a few videos in this little series. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and do subscribe so that you get a notification when the next one comes out. Thank you. Happy colouring.